Some people say that the year 2016 is only repeating itself. I remember the vibe of 2016 when I woke up and I was watching the election in 2016 over at Allegheny College, a liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. Almost everyone voted Democrat or blue at this institution that I was in, including myself. I voted for Hillary Clinton during that year, and Donald Trump won. It seemed that his numbers were just outdoing Hillary Clinton in 2016. I watched the surprise on everyone's faces grow larger and larger. It seemed that there was hope for Hillary, and then all of a sudden it slammed on Trump. I saw it was a weekday. I don't know if it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday night, but I saw people drinking. I saw people smoking marijuana. I saw people acting as if the end of the world was upon us, as if a new era, an era of danger and fear was coming. And I believed it. I believed all of it. And the next morning, after the election, the whole campus was quiet. Some classes were canceled. Some professors were so distraught that they refused to hold class that day. And other students didn't even show up to class. They just stayed in. I went ahead and went to class anyway, but it was a different tone. The wind was blowing. The wind was the only force on that day that was willing to speak loud and proud. Everyone else was more quiet. Now it is 2020, and I'm going to give you what Trump has done for me, for my family, and what and some qualities that I think, and some accomplishments that he's done very well. And I'll give you some flaws as well. I'll give you three flaws that I think that should be corrected by the end of this election, by the end of 2020. But it's Trump, and I'm just a small voice among the millions. But here's what I'll tell you. Number one is the tax returns. I think this is very important for a lot of middle class citizens like myself who are living in the United States. A lot of people in the USA are uninsured, including my family. Back then, under Obamacare, if you were not paying insurance, you get penalized on your tax returns. You owe a certain amount of money to the hospital because you got a surgery and you're still paying the hospital. You get fined extra because on your taxes because you were not insured. Very pathetic law. Trump eliminated that, and a lot of people's tax returns, including in my family, have gone up significantly. And I think that's just amazing thing by Trump. And the prices and the hospitals that, when you go to a hospital in the United States, they never tell you what the price of your procedure is going to be. Every hospital is going to present the prices up front before they see you. They're going to be very clear and transparent about hospital prices. Awesome stuff. Bravo. Now, the Space Force. I think this is another great quality of Trump, is that he opened up a path to militarization in space. People are going to tell me that you shouldn't put weapons in space. Space is not meant for war. It is for exploration, for science and technology. When you put enough human beings in a spot, whether it is Hawaii, the United States, or even Antarctica, conflict is inevitable. It will always arise. So it doesn't matter if it's on Earth or if it's brought to space. Someone will start a problem if you put enough people on the moon or on Mars, where there needs to be some kind of military intervention, or there's a squabble between two countries or two nationalities, even if those people are hundreds of millions of miles away from their home planet. Because people bring their greed, their judgments, their nationalities with them to whatever space rock they decide to inhabit. This is what I hope the Space Force will accomplish to squash all those greeds and actually enforce the law on people who are ready to exploit space. The third quality is that Trump has defeated ISIS. I'm not saying that he entirely eliminated them, but he has diminished their numbers so significantly that they are no longer a super threat as they looked like in 2014. Remember when ISIS was it seemed that they were conquering countries. They were going to be the next international threat. Trump squashed them, and he put the military in the right places so that they would be wiped off the face of the earth, and including the death of al-Baghdadi. That was a very significant move for ISIS, and a big one up for Trump. Now I'm going to talk about the three qualities that make Trump not as great as other presidents or just flawed. The first one is his distracting personality. People often quote that the reason why Trump is not popular with the other half of the United States is that he has a personality that is very loud, obnoxious. Some people say it doesn't let people see his accomplishments. I would say that I don't really care about what his personality is on Twitter or in person. I just see it as he's just telling the truth. He's being honest, because the average American will use curse words and slang to get their point across, especially when discussing politics. Not everyone can be very great in their vernacular like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln when it comes to politics. So Trump will just be the personification of the average American. But his distracting personality gets in the way of some people so that they could pay attention to him. The second one, this one hits a little closer to me, is that people tell me that the reason why they don't support Trump is because of ICE, because of what happens at the borders of the United States, that he is separating families, putting children in cages, and just making a whole disruption of family life happening down there. This hits me a little close to home because some of those people are my people. They are Mexican people, and they speak Spanish, and they come from a country where I have some origins in. But what is also argued is that this is also an attempt to stop human trafficking. There's a lot of human traffickers who smuggle children across the borders, who claim to be family, who claim to be the parents of children that go across the borders, but are actually just taking them to be used for services, for very inhumane, horrifying services in the United States. I'm sure there are wealthy people in the United States that are ready to utilize these services. And I think Trump is trying to put an end to that practice by giving us stronger security. I'm for strong security. But as soon as I tell people that I'm for the wall, it seems that a whole different change is happening. Now all of a sudden, if I say I'm supporting the wall, I'm against my people. I'm against people of Mexican, Guatemala, Argentine, Salvadorian, Cuban origin, because I'm against people of Latin America because I support a wall. When the same thing is actually happening in Mexico, at least this is what I've been told. People are pouring in from Guatemala or El Salvador to try to enter Mexico because their countries are going to crap. And Mexico is now trying to be stronger in enforcing its border patrol, its security, because they have an issue with people who are not exactly the same culture and don't follow the same values as the people in the homeland entering and disrupting other people's ways of life. I'm sure there are people who are just trying to escape the violence and want to find a much better way of life and genuinely want to be safe from all the BS danger that they've faced their entire life. But there are others who want to cause harm as well. Hard decisions must be made. And I know this is going to be tough coming from me and tough to talk about, but ICE is one of the bad qualities of Trump. But it is also, until I can better inform myself about ICE, it could be a good quality as well. Now, the last detail I would say that makes Trump a little more flawed is that he makes a lot of bad relationships with people who maybe he shouldn't have made bad relationships with. The best example I can quote is John McCain. Before McCain died, he said that he didn't want Trump at his funeral. Now Trump has problems with the daughter of John McCain, Meghan McCain, and she is a conservative. So there are even conservatives out there who do not support Trump. And I know this is also happening with the Hispanic/Latino community, especially in California. I know of people who are turning away from the Democratic Party because of their radical left ideas like socialism and Warren-style politics, because they want to follow their conservative values, which can be found in the Republican Party. But some just don't want to support Trump because of the ICE issue. And I understand that. That's understandable. If I know people who are Hispanic or Latino who do not support Trump because of ICE, it's totally understandable. But it's also not a bad idea to follow what you believe in, especially if you're a Catholic or Protestant or Christian, and really try to live by the Bible. If you live by the Bible, you will be inherently conservative. There's no way around it. Some people want to be progressive about the Bible and say it needs to be changed and want to accept LGBTQ people into their lifestyle, and that happens too. But if you want to follow it to the teeth, follow the Bible to the book to the teeth, then you will come out conservative. But maybe you don't necessarily support Trump because you feel like he is against your people. But it's all good. He does form beefs with people where beefs should not happen. And it seems that you shouldn't burn bridges with people who could have possibly supported you. But who hasn't that happened to once in a while? I know that I've burned bridges. I've met people who are great and I would like to show my care for, but they don't want anything to do with me because of my beliefs or because of something I previously did to them. And one day these people shall return to me, I hope, or maybe not. And maybe those friendships that were shattered by Trump can be returned to him as well. This is Estebanation.